All right, 149 pounds. This is a weight class with a lot of interesting storylines, a lot of questions. And let's just start at the very, very top. Number one ranked Ridge Lovett of Nebraska. Now, you're saying Ridge Lovett's ranked number one. How does that happen? We didn't even see him last year. Right, we didn't. 2 years ago, he was in the NCAA finals. Last year, he redshirted. And I loved how Nebraska handled Ridge. And there was probably a lot of temptation for maybe not for Coach Manning, but for Nebraska. They had such a good team last year, and it looked like Ridge could be someone that would maybe put them over the hump. But they said, no, this is best for Ridge to take this year and really focus on working on the areas where he needs to improve. Now, where is Ridge great? Top position, he's incredible. He can ride guys out. He can get turns from the top position. Upper body, great. Counter score, great. He needed to work on his leg attacks, right? And he did an interview, and he said like that's kind of been his focus, right? Shoring up his neutral offense. So if that was his focus, and I applaud Nebraska for giving him the year to really lock in on that, because think about it. This guy made the NCAA finals. He was the closest guy to beat Yanni that year. And he did that really without a go-to leg attack. And if he can get a little bit closer there, along with his other gifts that he already has, he's going to be really tough to beat. So it could be that Ridge Lovett is a runaway favorite here. But we don't really know that because we didn't see Ridge really last year. He did one open, he went 4-0, and he didn't really wrestle anyone of note. So we're still left kind of wondering, all right, what kind of progress did Ridge actually make? And that's what I'm curious to learn. That's what I'm curious to find out. He's got the talent to do it, to win it all for sure. But let's look at some of these other characters. And let's start with a guy that we don't even have ranked right now because he is retired not once but twice from NCAA wrestling, Austin Gomez. But I think he's coming back. He put himself in the transfer portal, this guy. So he was at Wisconsin, Gomez, and he left. He's been at Cliff Keen Wrestling Club in Ann Arbor. And then this week, he enters the transfer portal. So it's very likely that we see Austin Gomez throw his hat in the ring at 149. If he does, this is a guy that beat Ridge Lovett in the last year that Ridge competed. So that's notable. You cannot discount Austin Gomez, but I think Austin Gomez is probably not going to be ranked second, third, fourth, or fifth at this ranking because of how well some of these other cast of characters at 149 did last year. Starting with Penn State's Shane Van Ness, who there's two different angles you can take with Shane. You could say, hey, let's go full body of work. This guy went into the NCAA tournament without a top 15 win. You could say that. You could say, hey, he hasn't really proven it beyond the one tournament. Well, I say, well, hey, that's the tournament that really matters. And I went back and I thought, who had a season like this where big recruit, Shane, for sure a big recruit, great program, not the best regular season, turn it on to NCAAs, and then what did they do afterwards? And there's a perfect parallel here. And it's a guy by the name of Dean Heil. Dean Heil, his freshman year, big recruit from a power program, St. Ed's, to a power program, Oklahoma State. He had an okay regular season, not great. He was the 14th seed. He had losses to Cade Moss, who was a Penn State second or third stringer. He had a loss to George Fisher of Michigan, who was not really a super highly ranked guy or close to it, not an NCAA qualifier type. And so he was losing to those kinds of guys. And he was a 14th seed. He had glimpses, but nothing to say, hey, this is going to be a two-time NCAA champion, four-time All-American caliber guy. But he goes to NCAAs, and he gets fourth in a really, really tough weight class. And so from that point on, Dean Heil was just Dean Heil. He won NCAAs as a sophomore. He won as a junior, right? So for Shane, I tend to lean more towards the Dean Heil side of things, where this is the Shane we're going to get moving forward. He's going to be a title contender every year out. He's going to continue to improve as Dean Heil did. Now, I know that's like, can't get that many parallels right with Dean Heil, but I'm just saying I think it's a fair comparison. And I think when you factor in all the other things, like Shane's doing it right. Shane's at Penn State. All the factors are there for Shane to take the step up, not regress back to the mean that was his regular season. So I feel like the regular season that he had last year, we're gonna look back that as an outlier for the remainder of his career. Then you have someone who really had kind of I wouldn't say an opposite season, but you had Caleb Henson last year, who, as a true freshman for Virginia Tech, out the gate was great, and he was great from start to finish all last year, finishing and culminating with an NCAA All-American finish as a true freshman. That's to be lauded, and expectations for Caleb are, I'm sure, sky high, and to win an NCAA title. And I don't think you can rule him out. I don't think you can rule Shane out as a title contender. But you also have Kyle Parko in the mix, right? And Brock Mahler's been around forever. He's been on the podium a couple times. I don't think he's ever placed higher than 6th, right? So Brock's going to still have to take a jump forward. But now I just named you Ridge Lovett, Shane Van Ness, Caleb Henson, Austin Gomez, Kyle Parko, Brock Mahler. Those are 6 beasts. Those are 6 guys where I would say if any of those guys made the finals, it's not crazy. It's not crazy at all. And so 149, kind of a sneaky deep weight with title contenders as far as title contenders are concerned. Now, Ridge could just be that guy. Ridge could take a step up and just be way better. But that has to play out yet. That remains to be seen. Right now, he's just the number 1 ranked guy and the favorite coming in. Other guys will have their say. Okay, who else is interesting here? I think there is some pretty clear separation after that first. How many is that? 6, yes. You've got Chance Lamer, transferred from Michigan to Cal Poly. You've got Rooks from Indiana. Rooks actually beat Henson and had Shane Van Ness on the ropes. This guy can get to legs. He's used his length well. He can get in. He can finish. He could take a step forward this year. Jackson Arrington for NC State, also another name to watch out for. Jackson was a true freshman last year, I believe. He had a strong showing. Start to finish, he didn't have really any bad losses. He didn't have any major hiccups. There was nothing that said, "Ooh, is he going to be good?" He made it to the round of 12 as a true freshman. He's and similar to Shane, all the outside factors are there. He's at a great place to develop, NC State. He had a high pedigree coming in. So I think Jackson Arrington could be someone that maybe you see enter that top 6 sort of pecking order. One other guy, two others, then I'll let you go. Dylan D'Amelio. This guy was an All-American, a surprise All-American last year at 141. And I learned something in this offseason that I didn't realize or know. And there's probably a lot of this that happens in NCAA wrestling and you don't realize it till later. But apparently Dylan had a really, really serious weight cut. You looked at Dylan, I didn't really get the vibe of someone that had a big hard cut, but you never really know. But that was the case according to Coach Ryan. That, hey, big weight cut, 149 is going to be perfect for him, which allows them to slide in Jesse Mendez at 141. So he's someone that, big step up at NCAAs last year. He had Real Woods on the ropes. Tom Ryan's still not happy with that call, right? He was right there to beat Real. So what can he do at 149? A weight that, it's the podium's there to be had again for Dylan D'Amelio. And one more guy, Iowa State's Casey Swiderski. Now, he's for sure going up. But he still has a red shirt available. So do we for sure see him this year? I think for Iowa State's purposes and with the Panero Johnson situation being in flux at best, I think it would stand to reason you would probably see Casey wrestling 149. At least that's where we have him ranked right now. He's someone coming into the end of the year we were very excited about. And he's another guy. And a lot of people are getting a lot of clout for giving Real Woods tough matches. Like that's what I said with Dylan D'Amelio. That's what I've said about Brock Hardy. Now I'll say it for Casey Swiderski, but consider that a compliment, Real, that, being close to beating this guy does say something. And for a true freshman to go to Carver and not get the only takedown in a match against Real Woods, that says something to me. Now, Casey battled injuries. He's got to be healthy and a little more consistent. And if he does, I think he's another guy with the pedigree to make some strides. So obviously there's other names. I said like 10 guys. There's others, right? There's plenty of other talented wrestlers that are going to be entering the fight. These are top of mind for me. 149 going to be a really fun weight. We still don't know about Gomez. I'm guessing he's going to get his year. I'm guessing he's going to go to Michigan. I'm guessing he's going 149. But I think all 3 of those things are going to happen. So keep your eye on 149. Going to be a fun weight, start to finish.